Well, are you completely new to the Division 2? So I do understand that you never got a chance to play the Division 1, but you guys are interested in trying out the Division 2, but you're not really sure if this is one of your cup of tea. Well folks, worry not, because I will be explaining everything you need to know about the Division 2. Doesn't matter if you are a new player or a former agent from the Division 1. Make sure that you guys stick around till the end of the video, because watching this video might actually change up your mindset completely on what you're actually thinking about the Division 2. You might start falling in love with this game or absolutely feel like this game is not your cup of tea. So before you even think about buying this game or even think about trying this game out, let me take you through some of the basic intels you need to know about the game as a brand new player, or if you're a former Division agent but don't really know the basics of the Division game because you don't really have much time to play the game. You don't really know what's going on with the recent updates of the Division, what kind of changes the game's taking place in, and what's coming out for the Division 2. So what's going on, my fellow agents of the Division? My name's Blackwoods and welcome back to another brand new intel on the Division 2. So for those of you who didn't know already, the Division is an open world MMO PvP/PvE RPG third-person shooter game. Yes, that's right, it has so many genres mixed up to it. So for those of you guys who don't really know what the MMO stands for, MMO actually stands for Massive Multiplayer Online Game. So this game consists of PvP as well as PvE element added to it, and it is also a role-playing game, which is an RPG game, and it is set as a third-person shooter game. So let's say, for example, so if you've ever played games like Destiny or World of Warcraft, then you most probably already know that the Division is a game which is pretty similar to those RPG elements, but the Division 2 stands out in its own unique algorithm. The RPG and building your character charisma in the Division is completely unique on its own ways. So first off, let me explain this in a short and sweet way for all of those newcomers to the franchise, because you guys probably don't really know what's going on with the game, what kind of game this basically is. So the Division is a game where you create your own character. So this character can be customized with player style outfits or gears that can be used in the PvP/PvE world. Just keep in mind that these gears come at a cost. You will have to grind out either the open world or the story missions, or the one place I always refuse even entering alone by myself, and that is the Dark Zone. So before we even go ahead and speak about what the Dark Zone is all about, I know a lot of you guys have questions in your minds rising already. So before we even get to that topics, let me explain you about how the loot system works in the Division. So the loots you gain using the character is going to stay with you permanently. All the loots that you gain in the game, all the loots that you grind for, are completely going to be staying with your character forever. You can either choose to sell them or destroy them and turn them into junkies, which can then be used as a crafting items and much more briefed crafting materials out there in the game. So speaking about the crafting in the game has a very important role to play, especially during the peaks of when you're about to hit the end game content. You are basically dependent on crafting your gears and weapons and attachments and much more to be coming in the game, which I will not be going too much in depth into at the moment, because I do understand the RPG elements in Division is pretty complicated to those who don't really know the basics of which gear to be used or what the talents in the gears are, or even the gear sets that you need to run, or the equipment attachments, or what the skills are. There's so many things regarding the Division that you need to keep upgrading over and over with your players to get even more stronger than what you were yesterday, which I really think is something that every player will master at some point after playing the Division. And these extendious amount of mods and attachments and gear sets are a huge reason why I personally love the Division over any other RPG MMO games out there. And speaking about the loots in game and how you basically gain those permanently, you sure do have a lot of different ways of gathering up gears and better loots for your character. So let's say that if you're looking to get some super rare loot in a short period of time, then the Dark Zones come in play. Speaking of Dark Zones, these are the different contaminated zones scattered all around the map and has been named with east, west, and north, south dark zones. So these are the highly contaminated zones where not only the AIs or the bots are going to be your threats, but also the Mother Nature herself. The reason why I'm saying the Mother Nature herself, due to high contamination levels, dark zones are a closed quarter-line zones where you can only move deeper if you have a better gear set to even survive the toxins in there. Because while you're in dark zones, you're not only vulnerable to the nature, but also to the NPCs and other online players who will be ready to kill you as soon as they see you, or even intend to kill you because you might be having some loot that the other player is really interested in, or maybe he just wants that rogue status on and he wants to go on a manhunt, which I will not be speaking in depth about in this video because I don't want you guys to get like super confused on what the basics of the game is if you're new to the game. So I'm guessing you guys might have caught up on what the dark zone's basics are, haven't you? Well, the dark zone is basically a highly contaminated zone which enables PvP/PvE/toxic nature in the environment. So going into the dark zone scavenging for loot is a high risk as well as a really high rewarding system. The reason why is because you might come across a really good loot in there, and the risk is that the loot you get in the dark zones are going to be contaminated loots. So in order to extract the loot from the dark zone, you will have to call in a pickup chopper in the pickup zones. So there are like multiple pickup zones available in each dark zones where players can collect all of their loots and fight their way all the way towards the pickup zones and call for the chopper to extract their loots using a flare gun. Though there is a higher risk in extracting your loots in the dark zones. Ask me why? Well, that's because every time you try to extract your loots or call in the pickup chopper, your location will be shown in the minimap to all of the other agents such as you in the same dark zone. For example, if someone is trying to extract their loots or the items, what happens is that the extraction zone actually highlights on the minimap. So this basically indicates all the other agents in the map in the same dark zone, so they can either decide to come attack you and like steal all of the loot that you have, or maybe they could just go away doing their own things. And if that happens, you're still not safe, because when you're trying to extract the loot, there are going to be multiple AIs that will spawn in that location trying to kill you or trying to keep you away from extracting any of those loots that you collect in the dark zone. Although the random online players or the NPC bots are not the only problem that you're going to be facing when you're extracting loots, you have much higher risk of getting killed and losing all of your loots by your own teammates. Yes, that's right, your own teammates can decide to go rogue and kill you and steal all of your loots for themselves by betraying the squad. So the fight for survival is not just foes, but also with your own allies. So there is a reason why the dark zone is known for its own unique battles where every man is for himself in there, which is why there is no telling on what could happen when it comes to dark zone and what could happen next. And speaking honestly, this is one of the reasons I hate stepping into the dark zone all by myself, because this place is super spooky. If you ask me honestly speaking, I just love dark zone when it comes to PvP, and the way how Ubisoft has taken this in a measure of providing a unique level of PvP as well as a PvE environment in the dark zone. So these are the basics of how the game works on a PvP/PvE way. Now let's say that you went rogue in the dark zone and the players are hunting you down. So if you're engaging in a combat while you're in the rogue status and you have the rogue timer on, then your cooldown timer will be freezing and it'll stay the same until you are out of the combat. And killing more players while you're already rogue will result in increasing the rogue timer itself. So you might be like, whoa, Blackwoods, is there no other way of like getting past these rogue status that I just earned? Well, speaking of other ways, there are also other ways of invading the rogue status, one of which is by hacking into the Division comm stations located in certain part of the dark zones. By doing so, you will be able to remove the rogue status that was once placed on your agent. But remember though, hacking into the system takes time, and time is really precious when you are a rogue agent, because other agents out there or other players will be on their way to hunt you down. Because if you take down a rogue rogue agent, you will gradually receive a ton of XP and level up much faster in the dark zone, so it actually gives other players a reason to chase you down all the way towards the end of the map and even kill you at any point of circumstance. So if you die being a rogue, let's say like you're in level 20 and then you die being a rogue, you lose a lot and lots of XP. So you gradually increase your XP level, you do rank up, and if you die as a rogue, what happens is that you're going to be losing a lot and lots of XP, which will gradually then decrease your level. So make sure that you guys are not going and griefing all of the players out there just for the sake of doing it. But I do understand it's a part of the game, so I can't really blame other players for that. So folks, these are the basics of Division that every player must know when you are the new or a returning player to the Division franchise. There are much more on how to level up your character and upgrade your weapons, mods, talents, gears, and much more in order to make your character much stronger other than any other online players out there. I will be making videos on all of those things as soon as the beta drops in on 7th of February 2019. And if you're still confused if you should get the game or not, then you should watch a few videos that I will be dropping down on this channel when the Division 2 beta drops in, and I will be explaining about the game in a much briefer way to those who are new to the Division 2. With that being said, make sure to stay subscribed for the #1 source of all the intel for the Division 2, available only on this channel. So hope you guys did find this video useful. If you did, please make sure to go ahead and drop a like and stay subscribed and turn on those notifications, because if you don't really turn on those notifications for some weird reason, YouTube does not show you any new videos when it is uploaded on this channel. So make sure to go ahead, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. It's really important. So with that being said, folks, I'm going to quickly wrap up this video. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.